Okay, thank you. So, we have been discussing the Huffman coding problem. I hope you can see the presentation. Can you see the presentation? Okay, thank you. So, Huffman coding is basically an encoding problem statement. So, encoding means that you have been given some text and you want to generate a compressed version of it so that the storage requirements or sometimes a communication cost, because ultimately you want to optimize the storage or the transfer. So whenever you have this type of requirement, generally we used to encode the string. Encoding will actually compress the data, so it will the size of the data will be reduced. There are two types of encoding mechanism. One is called lossy compression and second is lossless compression. Most of the time when we discuss about the text based encoding, we are dealing with the lossless compression only. Lossless means that uh, the things which you are able to encode should be decoded back to its original version if it's required, like your zip file. So once you create a zip of something, then you can always extract that zip file to generate the original files. So that is called lossless compressions. Huffman coding is basically a coding problem. Coding problem, why? Because ultimately, whenever in any compression technique or in any encoding technique, the method is something like you will be given a text. That text will be analyzed, and then based on the analysis, to represent each character of the text, if you represent it in a purex form, that means in its original form, then you require 128 bit 2 raised to 7. So most of the time if it is in a purest form, then it's 7 bits are required. Most of the encoding technique does the or tries to reduce the number of bits required to represent each character or each letter, whatever it may be. So by that means, we can easily reduce the overall size of the text. So this problem statement, Huffman coding, is basically dealing with how to code. Means if there are 6 letter, or let's say there are 26 character in the text which is being given, then which character or which letter should be given what code, that is being identified or that is being targeted by Huffman coding. Mainly, there are we have discussed in the previous session that there are two types of scheme. One is a fixed coding scheme. In fixed coding scheme, you have a fixed length code to represent for each letter. Whereas in case of variable coding scheme, you have a variable length code to represent each character. Now, when you decide this variable length, you can consider the frequency of the letter. Frequency means the number of occurrences of that particular letter. So you can decide the length of the variable code based on the frequency of the letter, because those characters which are repeated more, they should be given lesser number of bit to represent it, because then it will actually reduce the overall size of your text. But how to generate this kind of a variable length code? Because remember, we are dealing with a lossless compression. That means we want to retrieve the text back. So we need some sort of mechanism which will allow us to convert this encoding string to the original version, and that mechanism is called prefix code. Prefix code means that whatever code you are deciding for any letter, that code will not be a prefix of any other code. So if you are saying over here, if 0 is the code of A, then 0 should not be a prefix of any other code. That means every other code should not start with 0. Similarly, if this is 101, then every other code should not start with 101. That is called prefix code. But how to generate this? Okay. So for that, actually, we uh, okay, we'll skip this at this time. So this is our actual problem statement. We have been given a tree. Tree means you have been given a text, that means some set of alphabet, so that is being given by C. Now the objective is to optimize the bit size. Now when you say optimize, here I am interested in minimizing something. So number of bits which are required to encode are something like this. F of C means the frequency of occurrences of C. C is any character. And dt of C means the length of code word. That means if I am checking over here, the frequency of A is something which is given somewhere. So let's say 45 is the frequency of A. Then this is my frequency, and then you have the length of the code word. For example, in case of A, if you are going for this scheme, then length of code word is 1, because you are using only single bit to represent A, right? And then you finally sum this for all the characters. So you will have this figures for A, for B, for C, for D, for E, for F. Then you add it all together. That will give me the total number of bits required to represent that particular text. That is to be minimized. That is our objective function. Now this tree is actually known as Huffman tree. Before we discuss this, let me show you one demonstration. Yes, let us discuss this. So you have now this 6 letter F, E, C, B, D and A, right? And then you have been given a frequency as well. So F is repeated 5 times, E is repeated 9 times, C 12 times, B 13, D 16, A 45, right? So this is being given. Now in step number 2, what you will do, you will find out the 2 letters or 2 alphabets or 2 characters with the minimum frequency. So if you see all these entire tree together, then 2 letters with the minimum frequencies are F and E. So that will be fetched out, and then you will create one intermediary node. So this is my, you can say, an intermediate node, and the total frequency of this node, let's say this is T1. The total frequency of this node is 5 plus 9, that is 14. So now in my tree, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 nodes, right? Again, I will pick 2 nodes with the minimum frequency. So now 14, 12, 13, 16 and 45, which is the minimum? One is 12, so that 12 is selected first. And then next minimum is 13, so the 13 is selected first. Then you will create an intermediary node for this. So this is C12, B13, so this node will be having a frequency as 25, right? Now I have 1, 2, 3 and 4 nodes. So now again I will go for the same approach. First extract mean, so 14 will be extracted, right? Then again extract mean, so next minimum is 16, so 16 will be extracted. So 14 over here, 16 over here, so once again you create an parent node, so that will be having value as 30. Now my tree will have 3 nodes, right? So 25, 30 and 45. Again I will go for the same approach. First extract mean, so 25 will be extracted. Next extract mean is 30, so 30 is extracted. And then one intermediary node is created, so that is 55, and there was originally 45 as well. So now you have 2 nodes. First extract mean 45, next extract mean 55. You create an intermediary node, that will be your root node. And once you have a root node in place, it means that you have created a Huffman tree. So this is how you create a Huffman tree. This is step number 1 to generate Huffman code, right? So using this frequency distribution of every character, you are creating this Huffman tree. Now, when you create this, or when you go for this kind of an approach, then you will generate this type of tree. It's always going to be a binary tree, because remember, you are extracting two nodes and creating an intermediary node. So you will always have something on the left, something on the right. So here it will create a binary tree. Now we want to generate the code. So again, the rule is simple. On every left edge, you put 0. On every right edge, you put 1. So this is 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and 1. Okay. So now we have this binary tree with 0 and 1 labeled. Now you have to just check out the leaf nodes. Okay, remember, leaf node are those nodes who does not have any children. So here in this tree, we have, these are my leaf nodes. And obviously these nodes will be the original nodes which we have created over here, or from which we have actually created this tree. So your original node will come at any leaf position in this particular tree. Now if I want to generate the code for A, I will simply traverse from root to that particular node A. So that will give me some code. So that code will be assigned to A. Again, let's say for example, I want to generate for B, then I will traverse from the root node. So 1, 0, 1, right? C, 1, 0, 0. D, where is D? Here. So 1, 1, 1. Where is E? Here. So 1, 1, 0, 1 and 1, 1, 0, 0. So this is how we generate the prefix code. Because of the way we are actually generating this code, this will be always a prefix code, because we are using this binary tree or a Huffman tree to generate this code. So there will not be any code which is not which is actually a prefix of any other code. So this is a code which are suitable for variable length encoding scheme, and this is what Huffman coding is doing. Let me show you one more example, then we will discuss the algorithm. Okay, so again, this is a very good tool for checking the Huffman codes or generating Huffman codes for any given problem statement. So this is where we first need to give the text. So let us make it very simple. So we are using just 5 letters. Maybe 6. So this is the text which I am giving. Okay. Now we want to generate a tree. So we will use build tree. So the first step over here is this one. Whenever you will be given any text, the first step is you will extract. Let me this. First step is you find out the frequency. So it means that how many times A is repeated, how many times B is repeated, C, D, E, and F. right? So we have first found the frequency. Then first step is removing two minimum. So which one is minimum over here? Obviously E and F. So now we are generating an intermediate node. Now because E was having frequency as 2, F is having frequency as 1, so intermediate node will have a frequency as 3. Okay. Now next, you will find out the next two nodes which is having the minimum frequency. So this node, intermediate node 3 and 4 will be having that particular case. So again you will create a new intermediary node. Now remember here, you need to make sure that whatever you are extracting, let's say for example in this particular animation example, they are putting the lowest as on the right side. So here if you observe, F was having frequency 1, E was having frequency 2. The 1 was put on the right side and the E was put at the left side. Here also there were two cases, 3 and 4. So 3 was put on the right side. In our example, it was inverse. We have considered that the left side will be having the lowest of 2. So even though you are actually extracting two minimum values, but between that two minimum also there will be one lesser and another will be higher. It may be. So in that case, you should stuck to your rule. Either you put every time on the right side or you put every time on the left side. That is to be ensured. Otherwise, you will generate a wrong code, right? So now you have this scenario 7, 5, 6, and 7 again. Now, which are two minimum now? It will be C and B, right? So again, that will be creating a new intermediary node. Again, C comes on the left, B goes on to the right. Then you have a 3 node now, 7, 11, and 7. So again, two minimum. So these two are minimum. So you will create a new intermediary node. So your 14 will be created. This is 7, 7, okay. Next, you have two nodes now, 11 and 14. So 11 will go to the right because 11 is less than 14. So now you will create a single root node. So if you see now, you have this Huffman tree ready. All the letters will be at the leaf position. And now you are supposed to mark 0 and 1, right? So this is just for creating a Huffman tree for any text, given text. So I hope you understood this. Any doubt till this point? The only place where we used to make mistake is what I have told you, that you will extract to minimum, but sometime you put it on the left side, sometime you put it on the right side. So yes, good question. If you have a 3 minimum, then you can select any two of them. So let's say if you have a letter A with frequency 7, B with frequency 7, and some temporary node T1 with frequency 7, then you can select any two of them. It won't create any difference actually. Okay, code may be different for A, B, and T1, but ultimately the final outcome will not be the different. So in that case, you can select any of two. So that is what I wanted pointed out, that whenever you have two values, one of them may be lesser than the other, it may be equal as well. But whenever you are having this scenario that x and y both are minimum, but x is less than y, then when you are creating a tree, Huffman tree, you should make sure that you stuck to the single policy. Single policy means that if x is less than y, then x will goes to the left every time. Or here in this case, in our on this platform, your x goes to the right if x is less than y. So you have to stuck to that single policy, and then you will able to generate the appropriate code. So now let me show you the algorithm. Okay. So now we are clear with the approach. So let us try to build the algorithm. Okay. So now you have been given a Huffman is the name of the algorithm. You have been given a set of characters. Now, unlike what we have discussed in the case, here we have not been given a text. Here we have been given something like this. So this is what is the frequency table, you can say, that A is repeated 45, B 13, C 12, something like this. So your C is basically a character array, and each element contains here. Each element contains the frequency, right? So here we are not actually calculating the frequency of any characters for every characters. We assume that we already have a set available. Set means it's an array or list of character available with frequency of each character. That is what we understand. Now the first step is obviously you need to find out the length of the set, because ultimately you have to traverse through each and every character. So you require this length. So n is equal to mod c. Mod c is actually a shortcut for finding out the length of the set. Because now you require something which is called minimum value, and that is required at every instance. So you require a proper data structure for that. And here we use a priority queue. If you remember your data structure subject, queue is first in, first out. But there is something called a priority queue, which is actually you can insert in at any order, but the retrieval is always based on, it is motivated by the some sort of priority value. Sometimes it is mean priority queue, sometimes it is max priority queue. Mean priority queue means that every time the value which is being removed is the lowest value inside entire queue. Similarly, you can have max priority queue as well, where value which is being extracted from a queue is always going to be the highest value available in a queue. Because our case, or because this algorithm demands the minimum value or extracting the minimum value, we need to use this priority queue as a data structure. I think if heap is being discussed in your class, then you must get an idea what do we mean by priority queue, because heap sort is purely based on that approach only. Fine. So now queue is initialized. Now what is the step involved? Step involved is that first time you will extract two minimum elements from this queue. So first minimum will be extracted, second minimum will be extracted, a new element will be created that will be inserted inside a queue. This is the approach. Right? So what we are doing over here, I think I'm saving the lines over here, but to properly understand that, let's say you have extracted some element from queue. So extract mean is a function which allows you to do that. So extract mean, that will extract something called x. Then again you are extracting another element from a queue, you call it y. Now you have value of x and y, something like here you have value of f and e. Now you are supposed to create an intermediary node. So that means this algorithm will require to create a new node. So that is what we are doing over here, allocating it Z. And then you want to set your left of Z is equal to X and right of Z is equal to Y. Okay. The point over here is that whatever values are extracted, for example F and E, you have initiated a new node, and left of that node is your first extraction, right of that node is your second extraction, and second thing, the frequency of that node will be summation of these two. So this is what we do. F of Z is equal to F of X plus F of Y. Right, so that assigns the frequency. Now you want to insert that particular node Z inside a Q. So that's what we are writing over here. Insert Q and Z. So this is my original Q. Now I am inserting this new node inside it. Okay. You have to understand how many times we are supposed to repeat this. So if there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 node, then let's see how many times we have repeated it. So this is my first iteration, then this is a second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration, and 5 iteration. Obviously, because you are extracting 2 nodes at a time and inserting 1 at a time, so that means after n-1 iteration, you will be having your actual tree ready. Right? So that's why we require this for loop, which will actually run I equal to 1 to n-1. n-1 time you repeat this. At the end of the loop, you will have only one node inside a queue. And that node is this one. Right? Obviously, it's a tree now. Remember, you are actually setting a pointers. So once you have that node address, you can traverse through any address inside this, right? So finally, you will simply extract that. That is actually your Huffman tree, right? So this function is basically creating a Huffman tree, and that is actually the most difficult part of Huffman coding. Otherwise, generating code is not that difficult. That's why we are discussing only this. So if we discuss the time complexity, then let us try to analyze each step. This will be repeated one time. Queue. Now it's a priority queue. If you remember, what is the time complexity of heap sort? Or what is the time complexity of build max heap? Anyone? Yes, anyone? Okay, basically this is the binary tree. Most of the, even we talk about the heap, it's also a binary tree. So when you have a binary tree, and if there are n elements, then the height of the binary tree is LGN. LG stands for log to the base 2. So most of the binary tree height is LGN. So whenever you want to insert or build a heap, the time complexity of that is LGN. So this is what we have written over here. So building heap is something that, then you have this for loop. Obviously this line will be repeated n times. Then inside that we are allocating, so 1. Then you are extracting. When you remove something from a priority queue, that time complexity is also LGN. So here LGN, here also LGN. This is constant, so 1. And then you are inserting into priority queue is again also LGN. So this is also LGN. So this is 1 LGN, LGN, 1 LGN. That means if you add all this together now, it will be 3 LGN plus 2. If you remove all the coefficient, etc., time complexity of this all the things are LGN. Now this is inside the for loop, so that means this will be repeated n times. So the time complexity will be n LGN. You can do whatever, you can put everything over here. You can use that 1 plus 1 plus n into, or n minus 1 into this, but ultimately turns out to be something like this, big O of n LGN. So that is the time complexity of creating Huffman tree. Any doubt in this time complexity? So I hope you understood the Huffman coding. Once you have that is ready, that means your Huffman tree is ready, then this is a simple traversal problem. So you can use any tree traversal method to generate the code for any leaf node, right? So obviously you need to assign 0, 1, 0, 1, something like that to every node. Again, whether you should put 0 over here or 1 over here, that is also flexible. In some of the literature, you may find that 1 is put over here and 0 is put over here. But again, you should be, and you must be very specific. If you have chosen that my left will be 1 and right will be 0, then every time whenever there is a left, you should put 1 only. Otherwise, again, you will be creating a wrong codes. So if you are putting 0 on the left and the 1 on the right, then every time your 0 will be staying on the left and 1 will be staying on the right. Okay. In examination, most of the time you will be given this type of table, or in the, I think in the previous exam, they have given something like this. So some text was given. So first job was to count the occurrences. So then you have to count that how many times W is repeated, I, D, E, L, Y is repeated. So first step is you need to generate this table. Then after generating the table, you are supposed to generate the tree like this. Okay. The time complexity in the algorithm. Any doubt in this problem statement? Yes. Fine. So time complexity, again I am repeating. See, whenever we are calculating the time complexity, first thing we are always concerned about the worst case scenario. So you will also consider but when you are calculating the time complexity, you need to understand that what time a particular statement is required. If it's a loop statement, constant statement, iterative statement, we know what it is required. But sometimes you are actually calling another algorithm. So here extract mean is actually another algorithm. So you need to consider the time complexity of that algorithm. And that is big of NLGN, because we are using a mean priority queue, which is being implemented using heap. And the time complexity of this function, extract mean or insertion, is LGN. So now if you put this step count 1, this is n, this is 1, you are simply allocating a node, so it's similar to the initialization. Then you are doing extract mean. So extract mean is big of n LGN. Again extract mean, so LGN. Then again you are adding something, it's a simple mathematical operation, so it's a statement with step count as 1. And here again you are using another algorithm, which is inserting element inside a priority queue. So you need to consider the time complexity of that algorithm, so which is LGN. So now if you add all these three, LGN plus LGN plus LGN, when you add these three, it turns out to be LGN, because the highest order term is LGN. But this is inside this for loop. So you need to consider that this will be repeated n minus 1 time. So n minus 1 into big O of LGN. Because you are having n into something, the time complexity will be big O of n LGN for constructing Huffman tree. Right? Remember, here we assume that we are having the frequencies available with us. If you are passing some text over here and then you are calculating the frequency, then time complexity may affect it. Obviously, it's not going to be affected because ultimately you will not require a nested for loop for counting the frequencies. It will simply work with the single for loop. So if you are having single for loop, then it will be big O of n, again big O of n plus big O of n LGN, then it will be again big O of n LGN. So that is the time complexity of Huffman coding. So with this, I think I will stop today. This is about the Huffman coding. In the next class, we will be discussing three other problems which are related to, again related to the graphs only. That is a minimum spanning tree, Kruskal's approach, Cream's approach, and one algorithm for shortest distance. So that will be discussed in the subsequent classes. Anything which you want to ask?